Hey, pretty babies, what is going on? Lee Sanders here, 401mania.com reporter and columnist. You are checking out an all new WOW Women of Wrestling Reaction Edition episode dropping for the week of April 14th, 2022. We're talking about episode 31. That's right, that 3-1. We've got one more episode to go in our coverage of these lost episodes. All of these lost episodes were dropped at the same time that the previous season of WOW on Access TV was made available on the CW app and on Pluto TV. Hopefully by now, many of you have been able to catch up, because I know some of you guys have been reaching out to me in DMs or emails or posting questions publicly asking, hey, how can I catch up on previous episodes? Even asking me what episodes I could recommend for certain WOW superstars that you could go out of your way and check out, see a little bit more of. But it's great to be back, because I know when it came to the weekend of the WWE Hall of Fame, WrestleMania, NXT Stand and Deliver, whole lot of stuff that was going on. We actually went on ahead and took a little bit of a mini break from the talk of WOW. So this is our first time since all the stuff went down with Mania weekend. We're here talking about WOW again, and I'm ecstatic. So after this, we've got one more lost episode to cover, and then we're going to be done until fall, when WOW comes back with all new episodes. And man, did things get popping big time on this WOW Women of Wrestling lost episode number 31. Let's get right into it already, man. Tell you this much right now, we got some new champions to be talking about here on this week's episode, man. But first things first, we got us a new WOW hero that came to the scene this week, Adriana Gambino. And yeah, this go round, I'm definitely prepared as we are showing you guys just some of the image highlights that came about from this week's episode 31 episode. Get a look at this. This is our girl, Adriana Gambino. You would like to think that maybe they're saying Adriana. No, it's Adriana Gambino. I had to listen very carefully to make sure they weren't trying to go Rocky and say, yo, Adriana. But yeah, this is her. Get a good look at her. Adriana Gambino. And I tried extensively to do some research on this girl, trying to see what other names she's under. I was not able to find anything. If you've all been checking now our return and specifically covering these lost episodes of WOW, yours truly has done a pretty good job in really going through the cyber web, trying to, within reason, mind you. It's not like I'm going on some weird, extensive, like I'm on Ancestry.com or some weird crap like that. No, thank you. But I've done my very best to give you guys the most up-to-date information on some of these women we've seen in WOW Women of Wrestling, trying to let you know, for those of you that might actually be fans of some of these women and you're interested in knowing what other ring names they maybe are under, how you can go about checking out some of their work. And I know in the case of the cowgirl Casey Dakota, turns out she's actually a stunt coordinator, actress, voice actress. She's a jack of all trades, no prior wrestling background whatsoever, right? So I know you guys like cool trivia like that. When it came to seeing what was going on with Adriana Gambino, I was not able to find anything. So shout out to those of you that actually may have a little bit of intel that you can share with me and the rest of the WOW Women of Wrestling fans. Have at it, would love to know, but cannot find anything about this woman online. But a new WOW superhero coming to the scene there. And if you're looking at her and you're wondering what her gimmick is all about and everything, I can pretty much tell you right now, her gimmick, yo, it is straight up like you're watching a female version of, I would say, And I mean this very complimentary. You are watching a female version of Tony D'Angelo from NXT. I BS you not. You are watching a female version of Tony D'Angelo from NXT. Shout out to you if you're very current on your NXT product right now. So when they were showing us a vignette of Adriana Gambino, they were talking about how, or she was talking about rather, how she is from the New Jersey area. She is from a big Italian family. Family means everything to her because it's pretty much how she was raised. Her family, they are very trained in hand-to-hand combat. They know a thing or two, ranging from martial arts, various forms of martial arts, taekwondo, all that good stuff, a little bit of boxing. She's also studied dancing, so specific dancing. She has studied ballerina work and everything. And she loves to cook. Particularly, she loves her mom's cooking and everything. And she talks about how she's daddy's little girl. So you're hearing that and you're automatically going, uh-oh, wait a minute. We're kind of going in a Tiffany Stratton direction. Again, NXT reference. So you're kind of going, wait a minute. Now, the thing that we all got to keep in mind, because I know some people are going to be tempted to say, man, they're ripping off of, we got to remember these episodes that WoW had filmed. These are basically way before the pandemic even started. They've pretty much been sitting on these episodes for almost 2 years because this is what was supposed to be of their upcoming season had they been able to continue to stay on Access TV. So we got to keep that in mind, that what we're watching specifically with these lost episodes, it's a couple of years old, but just how relevant it is to some of the things that we're seeing today when we look at certain wrestling promotions. And, you know, you're listening to Gambino talk and you're just going, ooh, right. I mean, you're already listening to the name and you're going, okay, that is just screaming mob mafia off the break, yo. Gambino, come on now. She talks about how the family is very connected, how they own a pizzeria shop, and you hear one of the WoW producers in the background. They say to her, hey, what about this other business that is going on with your dad? We're hearing rumblings that your dad is into some other things besides the pizzeria business. And Adriana Gambino, she is shutting that down. She's going, I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, she is just saying that with a stone cold look on her face. And you're just going, okay, we get it. And of course, the trademark catchphrase, nobody messes with a Gambino. You mess with a Gambino, you pay very dearly. So, all that in mind, Adriana Gambino was in action against Steffi Slays of the Bully Busters. Nice little back and forth. Gambino got in some pretty damn good offense. She seemed pretty good. If there's one thing that maybe I would say just off the gate from what I saw of her, and I'm very curious where she is now, assuming that she has continued to get some form of in-ring training there from the women at WoW, specifically Selena Majors, Tessa Blanchard, maybe even Malaya Hosaka, as they've had a hand in training a lot of these women that we've seen on the roster, ranging from the Girls in Exile to the Dixie Darlings, just to name a few, Callie Ray, just to name a few. But one thing that I kind of noticed with Gambino, her facial expressions kind of off. You know, we see some moves that's being executed. We see some things that's happening to her on the offense, and she really wasn't selling what was going on in that moment with her facial expressions. It was just more so just trying to get over the move, and, you know, she's kind of looking over to the ref at times for a little bit of direction, making sure that they are on the right course. really relying heavily on her dance partner. You saw a lot of that was going on, and it seemed as though she was more lost into making sure the spots were being done correctly than really trying to make sure she's telling that story in more ways than one, than just physically, but body language as well. But I thought she moved pretty damn smooth. Overall, I thought she did pretty good against Steffi Slays, even though against Steffi Slays, it was in a losing effort, as Steffi Slays had picked up the W here. I thought Adriana Gambino did fantastic. Now, I just can't help but wonder, what are we going to see on the final episode of Wild Women of Wrestling? Are we going to see Gambino maybe come across Steffi Slays backstage and says to her, hey, nobody messes with a Gambino. You think you can get one over on a Gambino? You are deadly wrong, sister. You are deadly wrong. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go with the next episode, because one thing that was alluded to in the case of Steffi Slays, Stevie Dickey and David McClain, they had said that Steffi Slays has found a new love. She still is in love with professional wrestling and everything, but she also loves delivering babies. So they were kind of making a little bit of a reference, if you will. Two ways you could kind of interpret this, because they weren't flat out about it on commentary. You can either say, okay, well, maybe in regards to her personal life, maybe she is pregnant and she's going to be stepping away for a little bit, or the latter, her profession, she really loves what she does. Maybe she has something to do with the nursing field and she's always delivering babies, and that's more of her love. That's more of what she's getting into. So, it's like, why are we mentioning this? Are we mentioning this because we're getting ready to kind of make this character exit out for a little bit? And if we are going to make this character exit for a little bit, well, then what better way to have this character exit than have her exit by Adriana Gambino? You guys see where I'm going about here? So this would pretty much, if they're doing this right, kind of feels as though they're laying down the foundation here. It kind of feels as though we're pretty much going to get ourselves a Tony D taking on Tommaso Ciampa here. It almost kind of feels as though we're maybe going in that direction. Sound off. Let me know if you guys were kind of getting that same vibe as well. Moving on. Our next matchup, Samantha Smart and the Disciplinarian. They decided, you know what, let's join forces here. Let's team up. And let me really set this up properly for you guys. So we saw a backstage segment where Samantha Smart was chilling in a locker room with the Disciplinarian, and they were meditating, listening to some meditation music, and Disciplinarian, she could not get into it worth a damn. And Samantha Smart, she goes, seriously, what's going on with you? What is really eating at your craw right now? Speak to me, tell me what's going on. And Disciplinarian tells her straight up, she goes, look, it's like, man, it just has not been clicking, man. Like, when it counts the most, need to get these W's, ain't been able to cash in on them, and it's just so frustrating, right? And Samantha Smart says, well, you know what you need? I think you need a new tag partner. And, we've seen everything else, all the other people that you've teamed with so far, and it's pretty much been a bust, but you've yet to really do something with me. And Disciplinarian tells her straight up, well, wait a minute, not for nothing, but you don't wrestle. And Samantha Smart tells her, well, look, I've been training a lot more on some downtime, and trust me when I tell you, your luck is about to change, and it's going to change for the better. And so that sets up a really nice transition going into the next matchup, as we saw the team of Steffi Slays. I'm sorry, not Steffi Slays, but Sassy Massey. Got my S's there a little bit mixed up. Forgive me there. We saw Sassy Massey and Chantilly Cella team up to take on the Disciplinarian and Samantha Smart. And the story, the blueprint that they laid out for this match, I thought it was a damn good one. They had Disciplinarian going there. By the way, let me just pull this back up. Apologies for those that's only going to be checking out the audio version of this. Appreciate the love and the support, though, for those of you that are the audio lovers checking in and representing, but you definitely need to make sure you're showing that extra love. Check out the webcast version if you're able to, because not only do you get to see me, you get to see my facial expressions, interact with those that's with me while we're live talking about Wild Women of Wrestling, but you also get to see some exclusive footage that I share from time to time. And in this instance, quick sidebar, disciplinarian right here. The only thing that's been interesting checking out these lost episodes is disciplinarian has been getting slimmer and slimmer, a little bit leaner. And she is looking so fine right now. I mean, she was, and I was so happy that David McClain and them had recognized the fact that she had got a new haircut. I mean, her hair is much shorter now. I was loving it. I was really, really loving it here. But I love the blueprint that they laid out for this match, because this was pretty much all about the disciplinarian looking pretty damn good on the offense. And you couldn't help but say, okay, all right, she seems to really be taking this to heart. All the bad things that was going on in recent weeks, every time she was stepping in the ring, right? And then you ultimately remember what happened when Disciplinarian and Samantha Smart, they were trying to stick it there to the Beast, and how that pretty much had backfired for them and everything. But this go round, you're looking at how Disciplinarian is doing, and you're saying, okay, maybe Disciplinarian is turning a new corner right here. Maybe it's possible here that her luck is finally about to change here. So at one point we saw Sassy Massey get tagged, and Disciplinarian was still doing her thing. And the way it was kind of coming off from Samantha Smart, she really wasn't trying to have anything to do with getting the tag. Straight up, just getting the tag. Yeah, here, dude, reach your hand out. Come on, let's get in here, get some of this, right? She, it wasn't blunt that she was trying to dodge getting tagged, but it was very subtle. You definitely couldn't help but notice, she talked a good game, but she's not quite getting in here just yet. Like, seriously, Disciplinarian is doing all the work. And we saw one last time where Chantilly Chella got tagged, and right as that had happened, we saw something go down in the final moments where Disciplinarian was coming off of the ropes, and Samantha Smart had got in a blind tag, and Chella kicked the hell out of Disciplinarian. Samantha Smart just pretty much comes from behind on Chantilly Chella and does one pretty ass fisherman suplex. I mean, it was a great fisherman suplex. Nice bridge and everything. 1, 2, 3. Would do Mr. Perfect proud, man. That Northern Light suplex would fucking do him proud. Picked up the 1, 2, 3, and that pretty much was over. That's all Samantha Smart had did. And Smart was looking on pretty aggravated as Smart grabbed the microphone post-match, directed her attention towards David McClain and the rest of the fans in attendance, and pretty much put over her high superior IQ and how she's better than everybody, and what they just witnessed was the start of basically a new era, right? A new change in the wind, and basically putting everybody on notice in the locker room. Disciplinarian looked on quite upset, and she stormed off. You couldn't help but just look at that whole sequence and say to yourself, man, it's a lot going into the next episode, episode 32, and pretty much the final loss episode. It's a lot, but you can't help but wonder, okay, we got the seeds being planted here. Eventually, are we going to see Disciplinarian say, okay, you know what? Bump this. I'm being used. I'm not feeling this. Are we finally going to see her, you know what? I'm better than this. Break away from Samantha Smart, right? You just can't help but wonder that. But should be interesting to see what happens down the pipeline. But I tell you what, even if they don't get to it on episode 32, assuming that the core group, including these girls, are gonna be in for those May tapings coming up in just a couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll see how this pans out in the fall on the new upcoming season. But the team of Samantha Smart and Disciplinarian picking up the W here. Next up, our third matchup for this episode of Wild Women of Wrestling, episode 31. Venomous went up against Serpentine. Yes, and the real question going on right here, how much of a factor would Sophia Lopez play in this if she was going to be playing a role in this at all? And there definitely was implications going on here for this respected matchup. And once again, in regards to Jungle Girl nowhere to be found. We had the nice subtle mentions of her during these lost episodes. You know, we saw her in action a couple of times, but we haven't seen her for these past handful of episodes. Nothing. So this match between Venomous and Thunder Rosa, aka Serpentine, as Steve Dickey and David McLean had alluded to, huge implications right here, because basically whoever won this matchup could make the claim that they should be the number one contender to go on and face Beast for the Wild Women's Championship and everything. This was actually a pretty damn good back and forth, and I like the fact that they allowed this match to breathe on its own and not have Sophia Lopez do any shady little, right, none of her little shenanigans at ringside. I was glad that they just let these two women go at it for what it was worth. I gotta be honest with you guys, when we got to this match, and as I saw this match come on, I'm going, damn, time is flying. We're pretty much already done here. This is our main event. And I'm looking at where I am. I'm seeing that at this point, it is about 22 minutes. And this episode ran 44 minutes. So I'm going, wait a minute, this is it? Or we're actually going to get one more match? And this actually was not the main event match. Believe it or not, this actually was not the main event match. But this match, it was good. It was good. Right amount of time, almost 10 minutes of a match. Pretty good. Venomous going over cleanly. Again, I said no shenanigans or anything. Going over like a freaking beast that she's been, the way she's been booked so far. And wow, so, you know, we get to see her in a position here where, as it was alluded to by the commentary team, where, you know, we are going to be seeing Venomous take on Beast for the Wild Women's Championship. And I got to tell you, just to rewind it back, some episodes ago, it was actually nice seeing Beast and Venomous. I mean, they pretty much were matching each other there, strength for strength and everything. I'm definitely down with seeing these two women lock up again. So, good match. It was actually a pretty good match. I was quite taken back. I was quite surprised that Serpentine had lost cleanly in the middle of the ring there. You know what was even more surprising for me was the fact that we didn't see Tessa Blanchard try to pop up in here and extract some type of revenge on Sophia Lopez, putting the screws to her and everything. So I was quite taken back by that, but it is what it is. And then our main event match for this respected episode, which was the Dixie Darlings, well, one of them, teaming up with Jessie Jones to take on the team of Fire and Adrenaline for the WOW tag team titles. And yo, we got new tag team champions in my girl making wrestling great again. Oh, the beautiful, the lovely, got that nice good country twang going on and everything. She knows I got a soft spot for her. Ain't no denying it. My girl, Jessie Jones. And the Dixie Darlings there. They got the freaking WOW Tag Team Championship. Once again, we saw the whole switch and bait come into play here. When it counted the most, man. They keep doing that damn switcheroo, and conveniently, every time you turn around, David McLean, he's missing it. He pretty much catches it after the fact, after Steve Dickey pretty much is pointing it out to him and pretty much shows him play by play, once they're watching the instant replay and everything, putting that to the side, those shenanigans that went down, this was actually a pretty damn good main event match. It was a really good back and forth. I thought the Dixie Darlings had really held their own. I mean, we got to remember, we really haven't been watching them that long in their career here in women of wrestling. We haven't been watching them that long. I mean, we specifically have been seeing them during these lost episodes, and their appearance has been more and more and more. But they flowed pretty damn well with Fire and Adrenaline, right? And I got to give Fire and Adrenaline a lot of props here, because the way that they did this. Look, anybody that's followed the career of Fire and Adrenaline, Kiera Hogan and Diamante, you know how good these women are in their own respected right. And you can always tell when somebody is playing down so low to a level of somebody else that, okay, you're just really trying to do your best to put these cats over, right? It's blatantly obvious here, okay? But for what it was worth, the little bit of offense that the twins were able to get in there, they held themselves up pretty well. But I mean, let's be honest, your real anchors for this match, it definitely was Fire, Adrenaline, Jessie Jones. They were your main anchors that were telling this story when it was all said and done. And yeah, man, shenanigans came into play. Jessie Jones was distracting the referee, while one Dixie twin pretty much did the switcheroo with her sister, got the other one in there. Diamante, aka Adrenaline, she was the legal woman. She got suckered into the roll up there. I got to be honest, because at this point, I wasn't even paying attention to the time. I wasn't even aware how much time was left for the match. I'm just going with the flow. I thought for sure we were going to see the champion somehow kick out. The match was going to continue. And honestly, I did not think there was going to be a title change. I did not think there was going to be a title change, but we got it. And you know what? I'm actually okay with it. I am actually okay with it. I love the idea of some really good baby faces, and Fire and Adrenaline make really damn good baby faces. I have no problem seeing them chase after the tag titles. And if you want to have it go down in a way where they ultimately get the tag titles back, that's okay. If you're maybe going to go in a new direction, I'm telling you, man, once we get to these May tapings, it's going to be very interesting to see just, how many of the girls from, the previous season, they were able to have come back, do this new season. It's going to be very interesting to see, because, you go on the website right now, you see that there's a lot of new faces, a lot of old faces as well, but you can't help but wonder, okay, are these old faces, are we definitely going to be seeing them? Are they a lock? Or are we going to be seeing nothing but straight up new faces? All things considered that there was a casting call that was put out there last year and everything. Send in your portfolio. We'll give you a look. Maybe we'll even try you out, give you a little bit of training, come to our seminar and all of that. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes down with these tapings happening in May. If you want information on that, head on over to WOWE.com. That's WOWE.com. But I'm excited. I'm excited. This is the first major championship that Jessie Jones has been able to acquire, and how fitting is that? She wasn't able to get the job done with Amber O'Neal, right? I really thought Grits and Glam, I really thought they were going places. I really, really, really thought that was going to be the team. Of all the teams, I thought for sure that was going to be the one that would become the next tag team champions, but it just was not meant to be. Just was not meant to be. And, I got to be honest, I thought afterwards, for sure, after Grits and Glam had broke up, I thought for sure that Jessie Jones was just going to continue on like she did with the season on Access TV and just be a singles act. I thought for sure we were going to see her work her way up to getting a match there against the Beast. I would have loved, and look, not for nothing, but hopefully we'll see it somewhere down the pipeline. But I would have loved to seen Beast and Jones get it on there. Oh my God. Just the psychological warfare in the ring alone would have been badass, let me tell you. Would have been badass, let me tell you. But a pretty damn good episode, all in all there. Pretty good episode, all in all. Setting up a pretty interesting episode 32 of the Lost episode, the final one, as that's going to be it, man. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen. There is so much that is going to be in store for this final episode. And I'm very curious, but the way I've been doing these episodes, as I've been telling you guys every single week, I pretty much usually watch these episodes usually the day that, I get to chill, I'm watching it, I'm taking notes, and then usually I come the next day, right? So usually I'm sitting down Wednesday nights and I'm watching these, and then I'm doing my thing Thursdays, talking about it with you guys. But the way it's looking right now, the episode 32, the final episode, it looks like that's going to be about 45 minutes long. And it looks like we've got potentially another newcomer, another new face to the Women of Wrestling roster. So she kind of has a little bit, just from the thumbnail I'm seeing here, it looks like she has a little bit of a Little Red Riding Hood thing going on. So a lot to look forward to, man. A lot to look forward to. So I'm a little sad. That, we're getting ready to, wrap this up. But I take comfort in the fact that they're definitely coming back later this fall and everything should be rocking, man. So look, at this point, as far as any Women of Wrestling news goes, everything is still relatively quiet. Hopefully, as we get into next week, hopefully we'll have a little bit of news, something. Hopefully we'll have something out there that we can talk about in addition to episode 32. And I am still working on seeing if we can have some guests from WoW come on by and talk about this upcoming season, some things that's going to be in store and things of that nature. So keep your fingers crossed on that. And yeah, man, look, I love hearing from you guys. It's been nice seeing comments and all that. And look, as I always tell you guys, if you appreciate what I do, you can honestly really pay it forward and give me the ultimate compliment, especially since it's free and it only takes 2 seconds. Hit that subscribe button. When you do that, you really help create a domino effect, not just for content recommendation, but you ultimately help put more eyeballs on our content. And definitely hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way on a weekly basis. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And on that note, that is going to do it. Until next go round, wishing all of you all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. Thank you for checking out this WoW Women of Wrestling Reaction Edition episode. One more to go. It's pretty much the official season finale, if you will. Same time next week. I will catch you all. Until then, be kind to one another. Peace, y'all.